Hello, YouTubers. Today I'd like to talk to you about password managers. Don't know how many of you have a password manager. I think it's a good idea, personally. I've had one for several years, and I started with a free version, and then eventually I took that to a premium version, and the one I use is LastPass. And I am circling here the fact that I have been reading for several months now about a breach that LastPass had starting last August. And it seems like there's always a little something more that gets released, a little bit more news that is worrisome. And you could see that that was August, and now we're in the end of January, and more bad news. That was 11 hours ago, 2 hours ago, 10 hours ago, more 1 day ago, et cetera, et cetera. So there's just, there's a lot of information here that was worrisome to me. And so what I've decided to do is switch. So I am going to take you through my transition away from my existing password manager to a new one. The new one is called Bitwarden. And let me show you how I make that transition in case any of you are doing the same thing, or at least maybe show you the Bitwarden password manager. In no way am I bad-mouthing LastPass. I'm just worried. I've read a lot. I've watched some shows, and I just would feel safer making a change at this point. So let me show you a little bit here about Bitwarden. Let me go to the personal. And I have now installed the browser extension for Bitwarden, which I'll show you a little bit later. The good news about Bitwarden is price-wise, it's free for most, and there is a premium that's $10 a year versus LastPass was $36 a year. So expense-wise, Bitwarden is pretty cheap, pretty inexpensive, be a better word. There's all kinds of good rationale for using a password manager. Sync all your devices, and I have even downloaded the app for Bitwarden on my Android phone, and I put it on a tablet, and I am now working with you on my personal computer. Of course, end-to-end encryption. Open source, that turned out to be one of the important reasons that I decided to go this way. It can be, in their words and my words, inspected and scrutinized. So you could be assured that people that are looking at this are able to dig into it and see more detail about it and let us know if this is safe or as safe as anything can be nowadays, right? There's also a supportive community that you could work with. You could share one-to-one data, and that's great. It's encrypted. So free is free forever. You get a Bitwarden vault. And you can see here what you get with it. It's easy to create a free account. I've already done that. This one here is less than $1 a month, $10 annually. This is where I will eventually go with this. Two-factor authorization, emergency access. They have an authenticator, which I'll use, security reports, and more. So you could just create a premium account. And here's for families. I'm not, haven't looked at that because I won't be using that. I have an Android phone, so as a result, this is from the Google Play Store, and you can see the Bitwarden password manager is here, and it's very simple to download and to use. And let's see if we could get any data here. Looks like it was just updated January 11th of this year. And it gets a 4.4 out of 5. As you can see, there's a lot of five-star here. So this is what I'll be using on my Pixel 7 phone. Let me review with you the steps I took in making my transition from LastPass to Bitwarden. First of all, I went to my LastPass account. Since I have a premium account, I turned off the auto renewal in LastPass in their account settings. And I did that because it's coming up shortly, and I didn't want it to automatically renew. The second thing I did is I downloaded Bitwarden on my phone from the Google Play Store, as I showed you, and I also added it on the extension for my Edge browser. You could do the same for the Chrome browser on my PC. I set up and created a Bitwarden account. It's free for life. You don't have to pay anything. Provides pretty much everything you need. You'll see that I went ahead and I got the premium account for $10 a year because of the several other security and report items I was interested in. I exported from LastPass, so when you go into your LastPass settings, you find your links and you export via CSV format. And I saved it. In my case, I saved it and did the work on my PC, my desktop PC. So I saved it on my desktop location. I went ahead and I did a bit of a test to make sure that everything was transferred from my LastPass account in this file. File is really easy to read. At that point, I then took the Bitwarden and imported all of this information into Bitwarden. This took a second. I mean, it took no time at all. By the way, at this point, when you've made this transfer, it was really only a matter of minutes, and I was all done. And I had it up and running on Bitwarden. I also cleaned up my passwords. I found passwords for sites that no longer existed, duplicate, triplicate passwords. So it's a great opportunity as it's in a nice order to take a look at on your Bitwarden app or program to go through and clean up. Then I did a couple things. I deleted the file from my computer and made sure it was deleted. And I went to my Edge browser and I added Bitwarden extension by going to the menu for Edge and going to extensions. I then tested Bitwarden to make sure it worked on my mobile device, PC. You could also do it if you have a Mac. It works flawlessly on my PC. Mobile is a little bit different, but it works really well. What happens is when you go to a site that you need to log into, that's on Bitwarden, on top of my keyboard, it popped up with the Bitwarden icon, and if you just click that, it asks you if you want to autofill, which I did want to do. Close LastPass account. And what I did is I removed LastPass from my computers, from my phone. I closed the account, and after closing it, I made sure that I didn't have LastPass on any of my devices. So at this point, I am now 100% on Bitwarden. So I am all set. I now have Bitwarden. This is my desktop computer that it's on. Up here you could see my icon for Bitwarden, and it shows that it has access to this site. So this is what your vault items would look like. As you can see, I've set up a series of folders for these items. I also have credit card information, some login information, and some identity information all included. So these are nice, they're easy to do. You could put attachments in here if you would like. So here is where you could send items if you would like. Some of the tools that are available, of course, you have the password generator. You could generate passwords, usernames, password type. You could have a password or a phrase, and you can dictate how long, how short you want it. Great. This is also where you import and export data. So it's right here under Tools, And then we have reports. And this is really nice here for your reports. You can get a report. I looked at this. It had all of my sites, and it showed how many passwords could have been exposed in data breaches, how many passwords I reused. You could see all this here, and breached accounts. So I did use this, and because of the LastPass breach, I was going to go to my most critical passwords, which would be under my emails and finance, and I was in the process of changing all of those. Because if you didn't know this, in the LastPass breach, even if you change your master password, the hackers apparently got the LastPass file, so your old password worked just fine and will continue to. So anyway, I've done that. Here's the reports, and there we go. That is LastPass. Well, I've completed everything I wanted to do. I feel good about it. I've read a few more things even since I started this. I made the right decision. I know I've done that. I would tell you that the actual transition, if you're just getting a free Bitwarden account, is minutes. I mean, it was so fast. I mean, it was just great. Easy to use, really very intuitive, so no problems there. In fairness, again, to LastPass, the ability to export the data, to close the account, to delete the account, was really simple, and I really enjoyed my time using LastPass. But the incidents of late have just convinced me it was time to make a change. So Bitwarden is here. I'm using it. I have it on my phone. I have it on my PC, and so far, it's really early on, but it's just working well. I wish you all the best of luck if you are either going to use Bitwarden or transferring to Bitwarden. You'll enjoy it.